Caroline Bateman. I founded Achieve Now because I wanted to help all learners achieve their full potential. I have a proven track record for working with lots of different students, but I specialise in students who learn differently. I'm sharing a few Google reviews that will demonstrate that one of the ways that I help students exceed expectations is I teach them to type. And I am horrified by the number of students who are not able to type proficiently, and therefore they underachieve academically as a result. And I believe the problem is a fundamental flaw in the way we teach typing. Consequently, I have a very ambitious goal. I want to help improve how typing is taught. And in this video, I want to share with you some very simple, effective teaching methods that help me get great results quickly with my students. And I'm going to share one set of results. This is a student with learning needs who went from typing less than 6 words per minute to 30 words per minute in 1 week. And I picked this result not because it's my most impressive progress, not at all, but because I had a review from the mum that was public that I was able to share with you. We can see that the student is in year 7. That's the year when students are 11 to 12 years old. And she has a neurological condition which makes handwriting really hard for her. And in just 1 week, she's gone from 6 words per minute to 30 words per minute, and she has a handwriting speed of 14 words per minute. So she's doubled her handwriting speed in just a week, and that can make a significant difference to students, because if they find writing hard, it affects their grades in every subject. I want to show you how you can be this effective in teaching almost any student, regardless of their learning needs. Now, even though the vast majority of the students that I teach to type have additional learning needs, I always start by teaching children to touch type. This is because it really benefits those who want to type fast and those who are poor spellers. And given the majority of the students I work with, like me, are very poor spellers, they really benefit from touch typing. So what is touch typing? A touch typist uses all 8 fingers. And when they type, they do not look at the keyboard. Instead, they type by touch using unconscious muscle memory. When we teach students to type, it doesn't come naturally to use all 8 fingers and not look at the keyboard. We want to look at the keyboard, and we want to just use the fingers that we're most accustomed to using every day. And because of that, we have to put strategies in place to help students build the fundamentals of typing correctly. And if we do that, they will go on to be fantastic typists and take advantage of all the learning tools that are available to them once they are able to type. In this video, I'm going to show you some very simple techniques to set typists up for success. We do this by getting the fundamentals right, by ensuring our students always rest their fingers on the home row keys and they don't look at their fingers or their keyboard when they're typing. So how do I get my students to rest their fingers on the home row keys? Did you know all keyboards have little ridges on the F and the J keys? I can show you them here. F, J, F, J. This has been true of any keyboard that you've ever used. And the purpose? It's so we can easily put our fingers in the correct position. So if your 2 pointer fingers are on the F and the J and your subsequent fingers are on the next keys along, that is the home row placement. And this is where we always want students to come back to in between key presses. So as a teacher, I want to ensure that these little ridges are very easy for my students to find. In fact, I want to make sure they are impossible for my students to miss. So how do I do that? I use 3D stickers. And here's just a selection of what I've used. How do I use these? I strategically place them on top of the F and the J keys. And that means that students aren't having to feel around to find these little ridges, but it's blindingly obvious where the F and the J keys are, and they know if they put their pointer fingers on them, then they will easily be able to rest in the home row position. and I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. This is my regular QWERTY keyboard, and I hope you can see here that on the F and the J keys, instead of relying on the little ridges that can be very hard for students to find, I have put on a tactile sticker over the F and the J keys that will make it very, very hard to miss. If I place my 2 pointer fingers on the F and the J and then rest my other fingers on the keys next door, I am now in a claw position on the home row keys, and this is the position I always want students to come back to. Now I want to share with you how you can ensure students don't look at the keyboard. And basically you need to make it impossible to peek, and you do this by using keyboard covers. And in the past I used to buy them, and I'm going to show you what they look like, but I stopped doing this because I just found it too expensive, because I'm always trying to keep my costs down. To show you what's available, I've just done a quick Google search for keyboard covers, and here we see these sort of sheaths that go over the letters, which I found quite fiddly. I preferred this sort of thing, but they are really bulky to carry around, and they were ridiculously expensive. So very quickly I decided not to buy but to make my own, and I have a number of different designs, all of which worked, but some were more popular and more effective than others. So the first cover I made was cheap and cheerful. It was paper, and this is how I made it. I just printed out the finger positioning, I sellotaped it to the keyboard, and students were able to locate the bobbly bits and type underneath here. So this is very cheap and cheerful, but it wasn't very popular with my students. In a similar way, I used a cloth. This was just a J cloth, and because it was just so light. Students found this easier to use than the paper, but it wasn't as aesthetically pleasing. Covers were expensive. Keyboards are actually really cheap, so I buy a dedicated keyboard for students to learn to type on. I then use stickers, not just the 3D stickers on the F and the J, but stickers on every letter so students cannot cheat. Now this ticks the box that the students cannot peek, but it doesn't help students to identify which fingers to use or even which hand to use. Here are two examples of 2 color-coded blind keyboards. This one has 8 different colors, so each finger would have a different color, and this one only has 5. So here I would have the little fingers are both yellow, the next finger, the ring finger, is green, the middle finger is blue on both sides, but I make sure that the 2 center fingers have different colors. If students are struggling to know which fingers to use, I can supply bands for each colour on the keyboard, but in all honesty this rarely happens. Sometimes students just need to be reminded which pointer finger to use, and so this is more likely the case. But students only need to wear the bands if they find them helpful. As the positioning of the stickers is very important, I supply this diagram, which you can find on my website. And just to reiterate, the stickers must cover every letter, that we have a different colour for each finger. So I've used nail varnish in each hand to indicate the keys each finger would type, but in actual fact, when you're in the home row position, you cannot see your nails, which is the reason why I use the colour bands rather than nail varnish. I do not put stickers over the numbers or the punctuation on the top, but just the punctuation that is typed by the right hand. So what is required to set typists up for success? A keyboard and some stickers. And with that, students like Imi can go from struggling to improving in every subject. So many students are struggling to get good grades, not because the technology doesn't exist or because we cannot afford the technology, but because people don't realise these simple techniques can make such a big difference. These enable any student to become a proficient touch typist quickly. Having said that, it is not a magic wand. Just having a keyboard and stickers does not guarantee results like this. Students require supervision, and this is one area where remote learning has really helped, because I find it easier to supervise students' finger positions since I've been teaching remotely, but also students have to do an awful lot of practice. Nobody becomes a good touch typist just from using these techniques. They have to practice, and so I think it's really worth worthwhile, ensuring students understand the many benefits, and that gives them the intrinsic motivation to put in the time required to become a proficient touch typist. I really do hope you found this video helpful and that you will use the information to go on and help lots of students achieve their potential. I have so much more I could share about how to teach touch typing more effectively, and because I don't want to create one huge long video, I've created a playlist full of helpful information for teachers and parents. And there are particular videos that I would recommend that build on the knowledge in this video. I particularly think it might be worthwhile finding out touch typing versus regular typing, because there will be some students that do find touch typing more difficult, and I give tips on regular typing as well. But Achieve Now is about so much more than just typing. Typing is just one way I help students get better grades. I don't just create videos, I also create lots of free resources, and here's just a selection of the resources I create, and you can find out how to download them in the details below. If you have found this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you hit the bell button, you'll be informed when I create new videos. Thanks for watching.